Hey, good morning. Welcome to the Temple of the Living God here in St. Petersburg, Florida. We hope you're enjoying your day. We have the lovely speaker, Miss Carol Mitchell, with us today. So with that being said, I'm going to start this day off with a song. Whenever you're ready, brother. Ready. Alex on the piano, everyone. Amazing, amazing, you will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing, you will do amazing things. Amazing things with the choice each new day brings, and with every step you take, bless the progress that you make. The reason you live is there in every gift you give. Love your life, love your dreams, you will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing, you will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing, you will do amazing things. All the places you will go, and the people you will know. Don't worry when, where, or how. You don't need to know that now. You're on the right track. No need to look ahead or back. Just enjoy what this day brings. You will do amazing things. You don't have to work it out, just stay in the here and now. Let your mind rest for a little while. Sometimes deepest answers come when you're out there having fun. So close your eyes, take a breath, and smile. Amazing, amazing, you will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing, you will do amazing things.
Yeah, Reverend Zemke.
For those of you who wanted to come but couldn't come.
And I quote, I acknowledge and respect the divine in all things. Viewing my surroundings, I ask myself, am I fully aware of the wonders that surround me? I may have fallen asleep to the truth. All things are possible in the light of God. When I allow the dreamer within me to awaken, everything changes. Life becomes a vibrant, joyous journey where even small things take on greater meaning. When I look at another person, I see the unique expression of the divine they have come here to be. I feel the connections between every being that calls this planet home. I realize everything in the world of the senses is a divine idea in expression. Awakened to the truth, I see divine light radiating around me, through me, and as me. I acknowledge and respect the divine in all things. And so it is. Amen. And now let us enjoy music by Daniel and Alex.
So this is a great song by Daniel Nahmod, one of our guys we go to a lot for music here. And this is a song that he's written that I love, but I only feel comfortable singing this during the month of October, because it's about passing on. So I take every opportunity I can to sing it. So here we go. Let's do it. If this was my last song, if this was my final day, if tomorrow I'll be gone, what do I want to say? If this was my last song, if it's my time to go, when my body's moved on, what'll I have to show? No, not fortune and fame, they scatter to the wind. The things that make a name just don't matter in the end. But is the world a little more peaceful? Oceans and skies a little more blue? Is humankind a little bit wiser about the good that we can do? Does the sun shine a little bit brighter where before there was only rain? If so, then I'm glad I came. If these are my last words for all of the earth to hear, if all that I have ever been is about to disappear, if these are my last words, there's nothing that I need to say. I have only tried to serve. It's never been about talking anyway. So much hurt there is to heal, it's hard to understand. All I can hope to feel is that I am doing what I can. Is the world a little more peaceful? Oceans and skies a little more blue? Is humankind a little bit wiser about the good that we can do? Does the sun shine a little bit brighter where before there was only rain? If so, then I'm glad I came. Have I given hope to the hopeless? Has a hungry soul been fed? Has a child stood a little bit taller because of something that I said? Have I left a little kindness? Have I eased a little pain? If so, then I'm glad I came. For that, I'm so glad I came. If this was my last song, what do I leave behind? What do I pass on?
Thank you, Alex and Daniel. Wasn't that wonderful? Yeah. Great song. Don't come up and speak too often. And I was, I get a little apprehensive, a little bit nervous. But as I was standing here in the prayer circle, I thought, how possibly could I be nervous when I see all these loving faces of these wonderful people that are sitting out here? I feel very supported and loved. So thank you all for being here. When I was on the platform last time, it was Mother's Day. And I spoke to my family heritage. I spoke about my grandmother on my mother's side, and I worked all the way up to my great-granddaughter, who's 6. And that's what I think of as my heritage. And I know that a lot of people are very proud of their family heritage, about their lineage, and about their ancestors and the language and the culture. But what I wanted to talk about today was our spiritual heritage, where we come from spiritually, and the natures of spirit that are ours as our divine birthright. When I think about being created in the image and likeness of the Creator, I think about compassion and joy and strength and abundance. But I was wondering, what were some of the things that you folks in the house here think of as your spiritual heritage? And I want you to call it out, but keep in mind that I'm going to have to repeat it so the people on social media can keep up with what we're talking about. So someone shout out what you think our spiritual heritage is. What is something that's important to you? Love. Unconditional love. Kindness. Patience. Gratitude. Tolerance. Surrender and compassion. There are many, many wonderful natures of spirit that are ours, that are within us. There's one in particular, though, that I'd like to review today, and it's wonder. Wonder and awe. And when I just say those words, wonder and awe, my body just seems to expand. I feel a lift when I think about that. I was inspired by a program that I was watching on TV on PBS, and it's called The Great Muslim American Road Trip. Life is an Adventure, which of course it is. Has anybody seen that? Has anybody? Yes. Did you see that? It was so, so good. It was a woman named Mona Haydar, and a Muslim woman, and her husband, Sebastian Robbins. And they take a trip starting in Chicago. They take historic Route 66, and they go ahead on to Los Angeles. And as they take this trip, I quote, they follow the Muslim thread that is woven through the fabric of our country. On this journey, they stopped at a lot of mosques and a lot of Muslim communities, and they highlight the wonderful things that they're doing in their communities. And it really was a great, great series. I really enjoyed it. But one of the programs that they did on their trip, they stopped at the Grand Canyon. Now, if you've never gone to see the Grand Canyon, it's really a trip worth taking. Our friend Richard Katigian up north, he's going to be coming back down here in a few weeks. But I was telling him about the time I went, and he said, "What? It's a big hole." And it is. It's a big hole, but it's much, much more than that. Yeah, that's Richard, You can hear him saying that, can't you? I went with some friends exploring the Southwest a few years ago, and the Grand Canyon was one of our stops. I went with my friend and his sister. She's from France, so she had never been to the Grand Canyon, and neither had I. So when we got there, he asked us to close our eyes, and he held our hand, and he walked us up to the edge. And, he told us to go ahead and open our eyes, and when we did, that was the very first time in a really long time that I experienced wonder and awe. You know, I'd forgotten what that feeling was like even. You know, the three of us held hands and we wept. We were speechless, you know, at the grandeur and the expanse of it. Pardon? Yeah, and scared too. No, it was truly amazing. I don't cry very often, but I was really inspired at that moment. It was a most wonder-filled moment for me. And the rest of the day, I couldn't get it out of my mind. You know, I thought about how large the canyon was and how small I felt in comparison. So I Googled it, and I found out that the canyon was carved over 6 million years. 6 million years. And the human artifacts found in the canyon were nearly 12,000 years old. It made me think about how short our incarnations are on this planet. You know, they're just a blink of an eye. And the feeling overtook me. You know, it was deep and large, just like the canyon itself. So I started going back, thinking about other times that I may have experienced awe and wonder. And I thought of myself as a young child when I was getting ready for Christmas and how exciting that was. We'd decorate the tree. And I lived in a house that had a stairway going up to my sister's in my bedroom. And my mom would put a garland with lights in it along that, and she would tape up all of the Christmas cards that we were sent. And I would sit there in the living room. I'd turn all the lights off, of course, except for the tree and all the decorations. And that was just wonderful, you know, and I didn't realize at the moment what it all really represented to me. You know, I didn't realize that it represented family and home and safety. I know this experience is common to all of us. How many people had done something similar when they were kids, just in awe of the tree and Santa Claus coming. And as we start getting older, it becomes an uphill battle to keep that sense of awe and wonder. Once I was in school and I started going through the grades, I started paying attention to other things, like lessons and homework and boys and music, of course. And I know that some of you were involved in sports and in other endeavors. And the realities and the responsibilities of adulting like that consume most of our time and attention. And the stressful situations and the distractions can sometimes leave us very far away from that young child that found beauty and mystery in the world. And as adults, there are clear benefits to nurturing what we think of as a childlike quality. As adults, wonder and awe most likely means something different than it did when we were kids. It can be an amazing work of art, like the painting called The Creation of Adam, that forms part of the Sistine Chapel that Michelangelo did. Or it could be an overwhelming sense of beauty, like the Grand Canyon was for me. You know, it can be vast as outer space, and it can be as small as a single, beautiful, perfect rose. Oftentimes, the feeling of awe is connected to the behavior of someone, like an act of dedication or skill or courage. Professor Dasher Keltner, he was a Berkeley professor, and he had a couple of quotes, and I quote, "Wonder and awe have absolutely no monetary value. You can't put a monetary amount on Yosemite, or a bike ride, or singing in a choir." And my favorite quote of his was, "Never underestimate the power of goosebumps." Beyond the physical effect of goosebumps, wonder and awe also lowers your heart rate, and it can affect us emotionally as well. That feeling of smallness that I spoke about, it in the presence of wonder, is called unselfing. I didn't know it had a name, but it does. It's called unselfing, and that shift has benefits as well. It's not meant to diminish our self-esteem like shame would, but to make you feel a part of something larger than you are. As you tap into that something and your sense of self shrinks, so does your mental chatter and your worries. Beyond relieving stress, experiencing something bigger can inspire ways of thinking. It can trigger a desire and a motivation to learn new things. Although awe and wonder happen when we're alone, it can also happen when we're around other people. And at those times, it happens in our own head and our own heart, but it can draw us outside of ourselves and towards others. So it can help build relationships as well. As I researched this talk, and I came across many studies and articles about keeping the sense of wonder alive, especially in this crazy world. It can help increase our productivity. Now, you probably don't think that wonder and awe are compatible with work or with other things you might do in your life, like caretaking, being a caregiver. But there's some good news, no matter what your profession is, and no matter what your responsibilities and the things you have to do at home, in your spare time, there are steps that you can take to connect to that larger sense, and in doing so, you can find more success and satisfaction in your work as well as your daily life. I was reading an article about actually protecting your sense of wonder. And it suggested taking a wonder walk. If you're getting tired, you're stumped, you're at work or you're at home, and you just can't think anymore, you're done. Take part of your lunch, or if you can take a break, and take a walk just to wander and be curious and observe the beauty around you, even in a place that you're familiar with, like your backyard or your neighborhood. And you will see places and things that you might usually rush right past, like a bee flitting from flower to flower, doing its pollination thing. Or I like the bunnies, when you see the bunnies running from bush to bush. And I love the little frogs, too. They're just so cute. You might hear a bird calling, and you look up in the tree, and you hear the bird singing its song. All those things can inspire you and make you feel calmer and able to focus. Even better if you can get time to get away from town and go to one of the nature parks, and there are plenty of them around St. Petersburg and around Florida. You can get an even better experience of wonder that will have longer lasting effects on your mood and your feeling of well-being. Nature's rhythms also remind us that we are part of something larger as well, and that we are enduring also. If you can't get away, another thing you can do, another idea would be to take advantage of the World Wide Web. You can look up videos and documentaries, and that also can help you to get out of your head. Go to YouTube and type in free nature videos and see what you can find. You can find many, many things. And you can start your own wonder playlist of beautiful inspirational music along with the videos and the songs. And, so for when you're stuck in your day. Another memory of awe and wonder that I remember very clearly is it was a few years ago. I was going with my mother to see my daughter in West Virginia. And coming from flat Florida, those Blue Ridge Mountains just seem like the Alps to me, And I put in a CD of Andrea Bocelli. And I listened, we cranked it up, and we were listening to this larger-than-life music in this larger-than-life space. But I had to really be careful that I didn't drive off, I felt like I could just drive out into space somewhere, It was just really awesome. It really was. And another thing you can do to bring more awe into your life is to go to a museum, any museum. As I drive around St. Petersburg, I see so many museums of all kinds. And that reminds me, all the people on social media, if you don't live in St. Petersburg, you should come on down and pay a little visit. Come here to the Temple of the Living God for Sunday service. And then go to a museum in the area, because we have many of them. Many of them are right downtown. You've got the Museum of Fine Arts, that's right on the water. You have the Dolly Museum, that's on the water as well. We've got the Chihuly Collection, the James Museum of Western and Wildlife Art. We have the Florida Craft and Art Museum, and right around the corner from the temple, across the street from the eye clinic, is the Imagination Museum. I don't know if you've had a chance to go to that, but the first floor is all an exhibit of glass from all over the world, and it's just really lovely. And then the second floor is traveling exhibits. And the last one that they had was the 1,000 Buddha exhibit. They had 1,000 Buddha heads on display. And they had places that you could sit and you could meditate if you wanted, or you could just be in the energy of the 1,000 Buddhas. Do you realize that there are 31 museums in St. Petersburg? No kidding. As I've been speaking about awe and wonder, I'm sure that you've thought of a number of places yourself that you can go to get that sense of awe and wonder. I want you to shout a couple of them out, and again, I'm going to say them out loud to the people in social media. What are some of the places that you go to? What was it? Rocky Mountains. Strass Theater. The water, looking at the moon in the evening. Rainbow River. Boyd Hill Nature Preserve. There are sunken gardens. See what I mean? People that from out of town, there are plenty of places you can come and check out right here in St. Petersburg. Once we've practiced and learned to find awe, we need to be sure that we bring gratitude into the equation. Be grateful for awe and wonder, and that we have it within us as our divine heritage. Tap into it and feel its benefits. So I thank you for sharing with me. I thank you for listening. And I want to say that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you for blessing us with your inspiration and with the awe and wonder that you just emanate. And of course, then when you sing and participate in the band. So thank you for bringing that into our lives. So we're going to move into our time of tithes and offerings. And if you would take your tithes and gifts in your hands and bless them, and I would ask for the ushers to come forth. And for those of you who weren't here at the earlier 10:30, we're going to be having two collections. The second one will be for the Central World Kitchen for the hurricane relief as well. So let us pray at this time. Infinite radiant source of all life, we give thanks for the opportunity to share from our hearts, allowing for the Spirit to move in and through us as we give from our hearts, knowing that that which comes forth blesses the temple and the work that we do in the community. For this we truly give thanks, and so it is. Amen. I would like to make mention for those of you who perhaps have looked in your program that there is actually a workshop coming up in the bookstore on Saturday, and Liz Dale will be offering that. It's a class on paganism. So those of you who may have an interest in the positive aspects of paganism, then please come and join us for that at 1 o'clock on Saturday. And now, Reverend Zemke.
I would like to ask all of you to take a deep breath. I thank you first for your donations and giving with such loving grace to the ministry of the temple in the world. This morning we remember our human brothers and sisters who live in our state, and particularly in the southern part of our state, impacted by the recent hurricane named Ian. Let us not remember the storm itself, but rather the men, the women, and children who are impacted in their lives. In the larger sense, we know not, because we cannot always rationally understand why these things happen. It is a natural phenomenon, and I want to assure you that it is not any kind of negative punishment from some source of divine beingness. That is not the nature of divinity. But these are natural forces that are in our world. Wind and rain, all of these things occur. So let us bless the giving that we are about to share, knowing that this ministry has made a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful statement to men and women and children in our nation many, many times across the years. If you've already shared, bless that gift. May it grow and flourish. If you are unable to give, send forth your energy. And if you are able to give, let it be gifting from your heart, your soul, and your being to our brothers, our sisters, our family in our state. May the ushers kindly receive that offering. And I honor you and thank you for your ability to support this. Thank you. Please come forward.
And now for our song of the month, Happy. Might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that can go to space. With the air like I don't care, baby, bye.
like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy.
Clap along if you feel that happiness is the truth. 'Cause I'm happy.
Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy.
Clap along if you feel that that's what you wanna do. Yeah.
Here come bad news, talking this and that. Well, give me all you got, and baby, don't hold back. Well, I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. No offense to you, don't waste your time. Here's why. Because I'm clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy.
Clap along if you feel that happiness is the truth.
Because I'm clap along if you know what happiness is to you. I'm happy.
Clap along if you feel that that's what you wanna do.
Here we go, here we go, here we go.
You bring me down,
Can't nothing.
bring me down.
I know my level's too high.
Bring me down.
I said can't nothing.
Bring me down.
Carol, why? Carol, tell him why.
Bring me down.
I said it can't nothing.
Bring me down.
I know my level's too high.
Bring me down.
Said I can't nothing.
Yeah, bring me
Here's
down.
why. Cause I'm clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy.
Clap along if you feel that happiness is the truth.
Because I'm clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy.
Clap along if you feel that that's what you wanna do.
Here we go
Hey,
again, y'all. Ha.
bring me down.
And can't nothing.
Bring me down.
Said my level's too high.
Can't bring me down.
I said I can't nothing.
Can't bring me down.
Tell him why, Carol. Ha.
Bring me down.
Said I can't nothing.
You can't bring me down.
I said my level's too
Can't
high.
bring me down.
I know can't nothing.
Oh, bring me
Here's
down.
why. Because I'm clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy.
Clap along if you feel that happiness is the truth.
Because I'm clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy.
Clap along if you feel that that's what you wanna do.
Because I'm happy. Happy Sunday, everyone. We'll see you again here next week, God willing.